My name is Tom, and this is the story of how my ex-girlfriend Andrea stole my business idea. But it's also the story of how I turned that crushing blow into the greatest success of my life. It all started with a problem I and seemingly everyone I knew faced daily: finding reliable, trustworthy local service providers. Plumbers, electricians, handymen. The process of vetting and booking them was a chaotic mess of online searches, dubious reviews, and crossed fingers. I envisioned a streamlined platform, a one-stop shop where users could easily find, compare, and book qualified professionals with verified credentials and transparent pricing. I called it Local Heroes. Andrea and I were inseparable back then. We shared everything: late-night takeout, whispered secrets, and yes, my burgeoning business plan. She was an MBA graduate, sharp and ambitious, and I valued her input. We would spend hours brainstorming features, sketching out wireframes on napkins, and dreaming about the future of Local Heroes. I foolishly believed we were building something special together, a partnership in both love and enterprise. The first sign was subtle. Andrea started acting distant. She became less engaged in our Local Heroes discussions, citing work commitments and networking events. I dismissed it as stress. Building a company is tough, after all. Then came the phone call. It was a mutual acquaintance, a guy named David, who worked in venture capital. He congratulated me on securing funding for Local Heroes. Confused, I asked him what he was talking about. He explained that Andrea had pitched the idea to his firm a few weeks prior and that they were seriously considering investing. The world tilted. My stomach dropped. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. My ears were ringing, and all I could hear was the blood rushing in them. Andrea. Andrea had taken my idea, my dream, and presented it as her own. The woman I loved, the woman I trusted, had stabbed me in the back with ruthless precision. I confronted her immediately. The denial, the flimsy excuses, the pathetic attempts to gaslight me, they only deepened the wound. She claimed she was protecting my interests, that she knew better than me how to secure funding. The truth, however, was sickeningly clear. She wanted the credit, the glory, the success for herself. We broke up, of course. The relationship was beyond repair. The pain wasn't just about losing her, it was about losing the future I had imagined, the partnership I had believed in, and the naive trust I had placed in her. I felt violated, exposed, and utterly devastated. I wanted to retaliate, to expose her deceit, to scream the truth from the rooftops. But something stopped me, a flicker of something else, a spark of defiance, an ember of ambition. I realized that revenge wouldn't bring me the satisfaction I craved. Success, however, would. I decided to channel my anger and heartbreak into something productive. I wouldn't waste my energy on petty revenge. Instead, I would build something better, something that would eclipse Andrea's version of Local Heroes and expose her lies not through words, but through undeniable success. I spent weeks locked in my apartment, fueled by caffeine and a burning desire to prove her wrong. I reevaluated my original business plan, identified its weaknesses, and brainstormed improvements. I researched the competition, analyzed market trends, and meticulously planned every detail of my new venture. I knew I couldn't just replicate Local Heroes. I had to innovate. I needed a unique selling proposition, something that would set my platform apart from the competition and make it irresistible to both service providers and customers. That's when I hit upon the idea of incorporating a robust feedback and dispute resolution system, a system where customers could leave detailed reviews, report issues, and mediate disputes with providers through a secure, transparent platform. This would build trust, foster accountability, and create a more positive experience for everyone involved. I called my new company Service Spark. The name was deliberate, a symbol of the spark of innovation that had risen from the ashes of Andrea's betrayal. I knew funding would be a challenge. Andrea likely had a head start, and I was starting from scratch, burdened by the stigma of being the guy whose girlfriend stole his idea. I leveraged every connection I had, pitching my vision to friends, family, and former colleagues. It was a grueling process, filled with rejections and skepticism, but I persevered, driven by the unwavering belief in my idea and the burning desire to prove myself. Finally, I secured a small angel investment from an old college mentor who saw the potential in ServiceSpark and believed in my determination. It wasn't much, but it was enough to get started. The early days were a blur of coding, marketing, and endless troubleshooting. I worked around the clock, sacrificing sleep and social life to bring ServiceSpark to life. I built a lean, agile team of talented developers, designers, and marketers who shared my passion and vision. We focused on creating a user-friendly platform with a seamless booking process and a robust dispute resolution system. We relentlessly pursued partnerships with local service providers, offering them competitive rates and access to a wider customer base. Meanwhile, I kept a close eye on Andrea's progress with local heroes. From what I could gather through industry chatter and online searches, they had launched their platform and were gaining some traction. But their reviews were mixed, with many users complaining about the lack of transparency, inconsistent pricing, and poor customer service. It seemed Andrea was more focused on securing funding and scaling quickly than on building a quality product and a loyal customer base. Her haste was her undoing. ServiceSpark launched 6 months after Local Heroes. The response was immediate and overwhelmingly positive. Users praised our transparent pricing, easy-to-use platform, and most importantly, our fair and effective dispute resolution system. Service providers flocked to our platform, attracted by our competitive rates and the opportunity to build their reputation through verified reviews. Word of mouth spread like wildfire, and ServiceSpark quickly gained market share. Within a year, we had surpassed Local Heroes in terms of users, revenue, and brand recognition. We had become the leading platform for connecting customers with trusted local service providers. The sweet taste of victory was undeniable. But it wasn't just about beating Andrea. It was about proving to myself that I could overcome adversity and turn a devastating setback into a resounding success. It was about building something meaningful, something that solved a real problem and made a positive impact on people's lives. And it was about reclaiming my power and my dreams. The ultimate vindication came when David, the venture capitalist who had initially congratulated me on securing funding for Local Heroes, reached out again. He admitted that his firm had made a mistake in backing Andrea's version of the platform. He had followed ServiceSpark's trajectory with great interest and was impressed by our innovation, customer satisfaction, and rapid growth. He wanted to know if I would be interested in discussing a potential acquisition. I met with David and his partners, listened to their proposal, and politely declined. ServiceSpark was my baby, and I wasn't ready to sell. But the offer was a testament to how far I had come and how thoroughly I had surpassed Andrea's efforts. Local Heroes eventually floundered. Plagued by negative reviews, customer complaints, and a lack of innovation, it was eventually acquired by a larger competitor for a fraction of its initial valuation. Andrea quietly disappeared from the tech scene, her reputation tarnished by her unethical behavior and her failure to deliver on her promises. I heard through the grapevine that she moved back to her hometown and started working in her family's real estate business. I never gloated or sought revenge. I didn't need to. My success spoke for itself. I've focused on building ServiceSpark into a thriving company, expanding our services, and creating a positive work environment for my employees. I learned a valuable lesson from the experience, that betrayal can be a powerful catalyst for growth, that adversity can breed innovation, and that the best revenge is always success. Looking back, I realized that Andrea's betrayal, while painful, was ultimately a gift in disguise. It forced me to dig deep, to challenge myself, and to build something truly exceptional. It taught me the importance of trust, the value of resilience, and the power of perseverance.